Hi, my name is Ido, and I would like to share with you the project I birthed during my introductory UX design course with Career Foundry. And without much further ado, let's go. Meet Sean. Sean is a middle-aged, ambitious young man, married with two kids, and as an operations manager, as a mid-level operations manager, he prides himself of being the best employee that he can ever be. And this is based on the fact that he always makes a point of duty to develop himself because what his learnings have a direct impact on his job. And with the next evaluation period just around the corner, he's eager to clinch a promotion to the next level because for him the promotion means more salary. More salary means he has more money to save for his daughter's college funds, and he's looking forward to when he would be at his daughter's graduation. This is a very key motivation for Sean. However, um, Sean's job has given him a very gives him a very busy work schedule. This means less time with family, and this is a part of him that he doesn't really like. It's also affecting his learning, his personal development goals, as platforms where he can learn, they either can't conform to his busy schedule or they don't even offer valuable learning. And for this, he Sean needs a way to continue learning that will empower him with valuable knowledge and is also adaptable to his daily schedule. Now, for him, the motivation circle is expanding, meaning that he strives for work-life balance, as well as being able to do very well at work, which eventually is looking at working the stage with his daughters. This is a key motivation that I noticed, and spending time with him, I realized that this is an opportunity for me to help Sean achieve his goals. And with this, I took on the quest upon myself, to design a mobile app that will empower him to continue learning a new vocabulary and also achieve his developmental goals, personal developmental goals. And with this, I developed a mobile application called Sways. Sways, it means something effortlessly good in a pleasing way. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. Some people call it Swaze, but I call it Sways. It even has a swag to it, like something really effortless and with swag. So what I did was to create a hierarchy of how he's going to interact with the application in a seamless and a pleasing manner. Okay, no frills, no trills. With this, I created a usability test plan, developed some wireframes that I converted to a low fidelity prototype for me to understand, based on some of my assumptions, for me to understand better how he sees these things and how we can use them to his advantage. And so the task I set out for him was, one, to interact with the app and complete the onboarding process. Two was to add new words to the text with image options. The third task that I expected of him was to review the saved words in his pre-selected text, and of course to also monitor the history of how much reviews he's done. And the fourth one was to be able to edit or access his profiles, where he could select elements that would help him with his learnings. Now, with this, I presented the version one of the prototype, and the truth is, it was a disaster. Here, I kept getting a lot of backlash. How can I go back to previous pages during the onboarding processes. Why is the card element not responsive? There's so much frustration. He's asking me, why do I have to write? Sometimes, I don't have time. I just probably want to browse the library and find words that I'm looking for and add to my library so it's easy for me to access. And also it's like, oh yeah, to review, good, but what if I can schedule a calendar because of my time? What if I can do this, have alerts to when I should study? Because with this structure helps me to be more dedicated while studying. And the last thing he said while he walked away was like, man, everything is just the same. All these online platforms are just the same. There's no online platform that can meet my need. And for me, that was like a blow in my ego. What can I say? As a designer, I was hoping to save the world, to save Sean. Um, but what I did was to take all his insights and his critics, and I made a lot of improvements. So for the onboarding pages, I added a back button to all the welcome and starter pages. In the vocabulary, in adding vocabulary, I included a link that allows him to browse the library and access content there. I also added an audio link where you can actually listen, to listen to the audio version of these words and the definitions. Makes it easier for him to learn. To review, I synced a study plan there where he can actually create a plan for himself, and it can be synced into his Google Calendar or Outlook calendar, either which one he prefers. And also, while creating flashcards, I optimized the card button, which is another access to adding words, and so far these improvements I were well received by Sean. He was like, okay, so that means there's hope, So I would say that was good so far, but there's still a whole lot of things to be done. Taking into consideration the kind of person Sean is, his motivations and his learning goals. So I'm looking at providing audio version of the library content where he can access this information while on the go, while he's commuting, when he wakes up first thing in the morning, probably when he's in the bathroom, and he can have all this content and information being played out to him. Another thing that he mentioned that was critical to him, like online classes need to have that real life experiences where you'll be able to interact, get real time feedback on information or questions that you ask, and be able to interact with others that are involved in the platforms. Another thing was accreditation, like having materials from reputable learning platforms or institutions. That was very key for him. With that, the willingness to pay is very, very high. Other things I'm looking at developing is achievements. Be able to expand his achievements, have things like tasks to be able to apply what he's learned, certificates to recognize the milestones he's achieved, progress bar to monitor his status, and this will all serve as motivations for him to keep learning and keep developing himself. And also, of course, the kind of person that Sean is, he wants to have access to information and articles that are industry related based on his learning profiles and interests. And with that, expanding the blog category to have this in it will be a major plus for him. So what can I say? Well, learnings for me, there have been pros and there have been cons. The pros, the fact that, first of all, tools of the trade. Trust me, there have been times when I just want to, I was very close to picking up my laptop and slamming it against the wall because I'm trying to walk around using a tool that I'm not familiar with and it's driving me crazy. But this has taught me discipline. This has taught me discipline that as a UX designer, these are tools that I need to know to be able to work efficiently and effectively. And I'm proud of how far I've come, having learned this, to having challenged myself, having disciplined myself to learn. All the late nights that I've spent trying to understand new tools and new reading up on information that has actually worked well for me. Thanks, Honza. That's my tutor. Second is welcoming criticism. This, the truth is work in progress for me. Being able to accept criticism is a tough one. I'm not one that my personality doesn't really accept that. But what I've looked at is the fact that in these criticisms have been key insights that have contributed that have helped me in developing this project. And I've come to realize that it comes with the territory, and I am learning to receive more. It's not gonna stop, and it's still gonna keep going on. But I'm sure that my skin is gonna thicken, and I'll keep taking it on board, and just pick out the things that I need and move on with it. Assumptions are something that most times when we're creating products is something that we work with, because so many times we just assume we don't know it. It's something that we do um, without knowing it. Is the fact that we actually develop products for ourselves, not for the users. So this journey has helped me refocus my attention away from myself and more about the user. Always listening and always trying to understand the user. So assumptions are good. They're good starting points, but the journey, the process helps me to either validate them or otherwise, which is why I said assumptions, see or no. C is the fact that it's the starting point. No is the fact that it's not about me. It's about the user. The user is the center of every product that we develop, and we have to maintain it like that. Another key thing for me that I've realized is perfection. Perfection is a myth. I'm one that I get carried away with trying to make things perfect. But what I've learned in this few weeks is the fact that perfection doesn't exist. I've learned to put pen and pencil to paper as quickly as possible, iterating in a very agile manner, creating things quickly, and revising and no, forgetting about all the aesthetics. There are no aesthetics. Just trying to put the ideas that you have in your head, put them on paper as quickly as possible. For me, I've come to realize that the best way is to be able to iterate as quickly as possible. So perfection doesn't exist for me anymore. Not that it doesn't exist, but it's been minimized. Yeah, that's the word. Being minimized for me right now. This is actually very interesting for me. The fact that this project has taken me from just a mere idea to to an almost finished product. That people can use and people can subscribe to. It's interesting how the world of product development is being brought forward in this 4 weeks that I've been so involved, and it's so exciting for me. Sometimes the cons about it is the fact that there are frustrations that come along the way, because what you expect is not what you see. But the pros is the fact that at the end of the day, you look back and you say, yes, I did that, or I worked with a team that did that, and you can see how far you've gone. You can see how close you are to achieving your objective. This is very, very interesting for me. Now, Eyes Wide Open. This is the flip side to Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman's movie, Eyes Wide Shut. For me, I've learned to listen with my eyes open. One thing I've realized in this short week working with people is the fact that people say things and do otherwise. They say one thing, but their behavior is totally different. So, and there's a bit of conflict, that I realized. I came to understand, and actually, yeah, I've come to realize that I also do that, and I say one thing and I do the other. So, seeing people actually do that to me was very eye-opening, and the fact that I've learned to listen with my eyes open. So even while I'm understanding what they're saying, I'm also seeing what they're doing, and all this um, I've gained a lot of insights that I've put to work, and it's really, really helped. Okay, so this is a brief summary. There's so much story involved in it, and this is a brief summary of my journey in the past few weeks. And thank you, Hansa, for being very supportive, being encouraging, giving me insights and advice that I've put to work. And I'm looking forward to continuing on this journey as a UX designer. Thank you.